Hello, everybody. Let me go ahead and bring my laptop up so I can watch comments as they come in. Yeah, I need to do a refresh. Okay. Okay, I see I'm upside down, so let me go ahead and turn my phone around. I was afraid of that. I can't really tell until I get online and see what it looks like, so bear with me. We'll have it fixed here in a moment. And I have to scooch everything over to get back in screen again. Let me see how that looks. I have a delay on my laptop, so I need to wait a moment to see how it looks. That looks pretty good, except I'm a little bit crooked. And I'm always confused which way I needed to go. And that didn't fix the problem, so let's go back this way. All right, we may be getting it there. And it's just a tiny bit crooked. But I don't think I'm going to sweat the small stuff. I might just leave it there. I hope everybody's doing well today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Debbie Foster, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm located in Bismarck, Arkansas, and the name of my Facebook page, as you already know, is Creating Cards with Debbie. And if you want to shop with me for any items that I'm going to be showing today or any items that you may be needing, just go to www.debbiefoster.stampinup.net. And if your order is under $150, I would like you to use the November host code, which is PTBTSQWU. And if you need to email me about anything, my email address is creatingwithdebbie179@gmail.com. All right, we'll set those aside. Okay, we're coming up on the deadline for the North Pole Paper Pumpkin Kit, which is tomorrow is the last day to sign up for this one. And what it is, it says, from the North Pole, it says, put some sparkle into this year's Christmas giving. Make this Christmas the merriest ever with 12 easy-to-make tags to adorn your pretty packages. Combine them with last month's coordinating Ho 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 Paper Pumpkin Kit for even more creative fun. It contains enough supplies to make 12 tags, 4 each of 3 designs. And it includes mint macaron glitter die cuts and specialty snowflake die cuts. And like I said, it coordinates with October's Ho 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 Paper Pumpkin Kit and add-on, which the add-on is the bags. You can get those as an add-on. You can purchase those separately. All right, and the fitting florets products. Let me get this out here and I can show you. It started on November 1st. I'm just making sure it's showing on the screen okay. I can maybe slide it down just a little bit here. We're cutting off the top a little bit. And please say hi when you come on so I know that you're here so I can welcome you to my live. And if you're watching the replay, also comment on that because I do go back and check the comments and also on YouTube. And I'd appreciate if you'd like and share the video on both platforms. And if you're watching it later on YouTube, be sure you hit that subscribe button that's down below. And then also click on that little bell and you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we've got fitting florets and the collection. You can order all together, which would be $97.50. You get the whole collection, or you can order it separately. And if you ordered the frame florets and the dies, you can get that at a bundle price where you save 10%. Okay, but the gold adhesive back swirls and the framed and festive stamp set and the designer series paper are only available while supplies last. The frame florets and dies will carry over into our next catalog. And you have until, looks like until, they're running it until January 4th of 2023. So be sure you get your orders in early though so you don't miss out in case they run out of supplies. Alright, I think that's all the housekeeping things I have to discuss. And still, to get your starter kit is only $99, and that's free shipping. And you will be able to receive $125 worth of products that you yourself pick out. So, if you have any questions on that, just email me or private message me, and I'll be happy to tell you all about it and answer any questions you may have. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got 3 projects today. We're going to be doing 1 birthday and 2 Christmas cards. So we're going to start out with the birthday card. And this is it. It says, wishes for a beautiful birthday. And on the inside it says, for a special person on a special day. And this is using the framed florets bundle, the dies, and the stamp set. So those were what I was talking about on that collection that we just spoke about. I'm really loving this set. It's got wishes for a beautiful birthday. Thank you with all my heart. So lucky to call you friend. For a special person on a special day. Just a little reminder that you are loved and celebrate. And then it's got all the flower designs. And the dies, let me just take out my sample pages. What all that has. It has a lot of dies. I'm not sure how many did I say in here. I think I did not say. It's got a lot of frames. This one here is one that we're going to be using today. It cuts out all the little hearts. And then if you want it to have a circle there, you use this die to cut out the oval. And plus it'll give you the inside layer also that all comes apart. And you'd use that oval in another one here. Here's the frame and here's the center. And then here are the different images. We got this here, it's like a leaf. And then we got our stamped images that we can die cut. And then we have 2 little leaves right here. So, lots of choices. I really like this set. It's going to be one of my go-to favorites, I think. Those back in the package. And then let's get started here. Set my card up there so I can see what I'm doing. And look at all of our little bits and pieces. And I've done a lot of prep work ahead of time to save some time. Get my instructions. Okay. So our card base is polished pink, and that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And then we've scored it in the middle at 5.5 inches. So we're just going to take our bone folder and we're going to burnish that fold. And we'll set that aside. And I'll give you all the dimensions here first before we get started. I have a basic white that measures 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And then our designer series paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And I've taken that die and I've already die cut. So I want to show you exactly how I did that. We're not going to be die cutting it on screen. But it has the little hearts in the die. And we're just going to match that up right there. And then we used this little oval with the ridges to cut out the center. And here that is after we've die cut that out. And then we also die cut it out of the pink, polished pink, to give us a pink frame. We'll go like this. And okay, so we're going to start out by gluing our designer series paper to our white, basic white mat. And I'm just going to be using my liquid glue of choice, my Tombow, or some call it the green glue, the mono, it's called mono liquid glue. And we're just going to put a little glue on the background of this, and we'll glue it down to our basic white. And I want to make sure that my hearts are going the right direction, that they're not upside down also, so pay attention to that. And we're going to center this so we have a small border going all the way around. And with the liquid glue, it gives you time to move it around if you need to, which I like. And then we're going to take our stamp, which is Wishes for a Beautiful Birthday, and we're going to stamp that right in the center here before we put our frame down. And I'm just using black Memento ink. And I re-inked my ink pads this morning, so they should be good. And we're just going to center that. Let me get a little bit more here. And keep it straight. And I hope I got that over far enough. And then we're going to put our pink frame down. Okay, looks good. I thought maybe I had it over too far. And then we're just going to glue that down to our oval. Oops, almost dropped it. And we're going to center that. And press it down so it attaches. And then I've already die cut from, oops, that one's caught in there, from the soft succulent cardstock. I've already die cut these. And a sprig and 2 leaves. And then I also cut the sprig from vellum, so we're going to layer that. Alright, so now we're going to set those aside for a little bit because we're going to do some stamping first and some coloring. I'm going to use the sprig of flowers. We're going to stamp that and then we're going to color those. Alright, and I'm going to place that down on there. And I'm going to put the lid back on my ink pad. And the Stampin' Blends that we're using are soft succulent. I've got some ink on my finger. Polished pink. And then the bronze for the center of our flower. So I just want to make sure that that's dry, being my ink was pretty wet. And we're going to start with we're going to start with the polished pink and do our flowers first. And I like to start with a dark polished pink. And I'm going to use the bullet end. And I'm just going to give some shading. To my flowers. And I'm just kind of going over the lines that the stamp has given us. And I think, oops, yeah, I've got all the flowers that I need to do with that. And then we'll go with our light polished pink, and we're going to color in the petals. Get that out of the way. And making sure I'm in view of the camera, so that looks good. Hope everybody's having a good day. We've got a pretty sunshiny day today. I haven't been outside yet. I hope to go out here when I'm finished. Get a little fresh air. We're going to have real fresh air this weekend. Our temperatures are going to drop pretty cold. I think Sunday morning we're supposed to wake up to 30 degrees. So I think it's time to dig out the winter clothes. Which I haven't done yet. It's on my plan for tomorrow, I hope. Okay, I'm kind of froggy today. I don't know. My husband was doing some burning of leaves outside, so I'm thinking that the smoke is maybe getting to me. I don't know. Might be. When you have asthma, it's hard telling. Okay, we're almost finished with the flowers. And we've got one little one over here yet. And then we'll go with the leaves. Okay, like that. Let's go with the dark soft succulent for the leaves. And I'm just going to do the same. I'm going to outline where the lines are with the dark. You might hear my dog bark. It looks like the mailman's coming to the door. I have a package coming today from Stampin Up. Some happy mail. Okay, and then we'll use the soft succulent to fill the leaf in. And get these little ones. Okay, we're almost done. It wasn't too bad of a bark. Guess you woke her up. Alright, so there's our coloring of that. And we're going to use the bronze to do the center of the flowers. Okay, and then we're going to die cut that out using the die. This one right here. And with the magic of television, I've already die cut one out already. So let's get with our project. I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of our flowers. And I think I want to do 3. 1 at each end and 1 in the middle. And I even swept my floor this morning in my craft room, so I had bits and pieces all over the place. Alright, we're going to layer that onto our oval. And I think I like it right there. And then we're going to come back in with our vellum sprig, and we're going to place that there. But I'm going to bring out my fine tip glue. I've used the original glue out of it, so I put my Tombow in here instead. So it's just, it helps me to get into skinny areas like this. And I'm just going to dot a few spots that are larger. And so I think that's good. And then we're going to lay that down. And hold it for just a second to get the glue to attach. Alright, then we'll do the same with the soft succulent one. I think I might be a little high in the camera. Let me bring it down a little bit. And again, we'll just do little dots on the larger areas just to hold it down. And we're going to slip that over the vellum one, just so it shows a little bit. And okay. So it kind of gives it dimension because I'm not gluing the entire thing down. So we're going to take our leaf and we're going to put one in there. And you'll notice on the leaves that they're going different directions, which I like that. You can have them going this way, or you can have them going meeting each other. So it's just an added touch that Stampin' Up! Thought of. Okay, and then we're going to place this one up underneath this little sprig, so it's coming out a little bit. And this one is going to go on the other side. And I'm going to turn it a little bit here. Alright, like that. And then we can put our cap back on our fine tip glue bottle. And I've got a bit of glue on my fingers, so I'm trying to wipe off. Alright, so we'll bring our card back over here. And we'll attach that to the front of our card. I think I like it this way. And bring out our regular glue bottle. And put some glue on there and attach it to the front of our card. I'm going to turn it here. And we'll have a small border going around. Okay. And now we're going to bring our gems over here. These are those new ones that I spoke about that are while supplies last. And they are the gold adhesive back swirls. We're going to place some of those on our card fronts. I'm going to bring my Take Your Pick tool. And using the pointed end, I'm still out of camera view here. I've got to bring these down this way. I'm going to take 3 of those. But I'm going to put 2 on the larger flower centers. And then another one up with our sentiment. And I think I think right there is good. I like to do in threes or odd numbers anyway. Alright, so there's the outside of our card. So now let's work on the inside. We've got a basic white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to stamp our inside sentiment on there, which is for a special person on a special day. And using the black memento ink again. And I ought to be using my mat here. And I got a smudge right there. I'm going to turn my paper over. And we're just going to stamp this right in the center towards the top. Okay. And we're going to add some flowers to each corner. So I'm going to start out with the larger flower. And we're just going to decide which direction we want the flower to go. So I think we're going to go with that flower going this way. And then we'll do the small flower at the bottom right hand corner. And then I'm going to add some leaves to that. And I think I'm going to go right here. And it's good with the photopolymer because you can see through it to see where you want to place things. It makes it easier. Alright. And put the lid back on our ink pad. And I'm going to bring my blends back over here to do a little bit of coloring. And I'm going to go with the polished pink. And I'm going to start with the dark. And we're going to do some shading with the dark polished pink. Stampin' Blend. And I'll do both flowers at the same time. That's just a few right here. Okay, and then we'll come in with a light polished pink. And we'll fill those flowers in with petals. Alright. And our second flower. That won't be long, and Thanksgiving will be here. Does anybody have any big plans for Thanksgiving? Alright, I'm going to start with the dark soft succulent. And we'll do the stems, or the veins on our stems. Just to do a little bit of highlighting and shading. It doesn't have to be perfect because when you come back with your light, it's going to shade it all together. So it'll look like you're an expert. Except for me trying to stay on the lines here. I guess I'm trying to do it too fast. I'm not being as careful as I should be. Okay, and then we'll come back in with the bronze and fill the centers of those flowers. Alright, now we're going to add a little strip of that designer series paper, and this is it a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 of an inch? A 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and that's going to go across our bottom. And I'm going to put it even with the bottom. So I'm going to turn that over and make sure it's in the right spot. Looks good. And then we're going to add our glue and attach that to the inside of our card. Okay. Alright, so here's our card. I didn't add no bow to it. I thought it had enough on it, but you could put a bow on there if you wanted to. So it says, wishes for a beautiful birthday for a special person on a special day. So that's our first card. And our next ones are Christmas. So I'm going to get all my supplies out here, and then I'll show it to you. I think I got everything. We're going to be using the Christmas Barn bundle. It's the stamp set and the dies. And let me get these stamps out of the way. I guess I should have had 2 containers, one for dirties and one for clean, but I didn't. And I'll bring all of our stamps out that we're going to be using. And we've got quite an assortment here, so. Okay. So here's the stamp set, the bundle that we're using. Here's the card that we're making. It says, Merry Christmas to you and yours. Ooh, I've got squigglies going on, I guess because I was moving too fast. Alright, Merry Christmas to yours. To you and yours. And this is the inside. It says, May joy fill your heart this season. So I really enjoyed making this card. It's got quite a few elements to it, but it's fun. Make sure I don't have ink on my fingers. Okay, so we're going to start out with our card base, which is just our thick, heavy white, or a thick basic white. And get my instructions here. Alright, and that measures 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches. And then it's scored in the middle at 5 1/2 inches. So we're going to use our bone folder to burnish that fold really good. And we'll set that aside for a moment. And then we have basic black, which is, alright, I got the wrong measurements on here. Basic black is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. I guess I changed up my plan there, that I still had the old instructions on there. And then we have our designer series paper, which comes from, let me get that out, let me grab that. That is from the Bows of Holly paper. And let me just show those to you really quick. Okay, so we have this design, and then this is the back side. Get this up here for you. We have some poinsettias with just the red on the back. And we've got poinsettias on white with this on the back. And this is the one that we're using. And then we've got some holly with the green stripes on the back. And some red poinsettias on red, and then some red polka dotted spotted paper on the back of that. And then we've got some more berries and hollies, and then this is on the back. So that's the pack of paper, designer series paper that we're using. Okay, so this designer series paper measures, I got the wrong instructions there. It's 3.5 inches by 4 inches, and that's going to be our top layer. And then we have a bottom basic white that is 2 3/8 inches by 4 inches. We're going to be stamping on that and then embossing that. But let's go ahead and put our trees down to our black matte paper. And it helps if I lay it down flat to put glue on it. Alright, and make sure your trees are going the right direction. We're going to place that at the upper portion of our black mat. And leave a small space going around it. And we'll set that aside for a moment because we're going to do some stamping on this white. And we're going to stamp our Merry Christmas to you and yours using our black memento. And I'm going to bring my piercing mat back over here to stamp on so we have some cushion. And we're going to stamp the sentiment at the bottom right hand corner of that white piece of paper, cardstock. Okay. And we're going to need some footprints going through the snow, so we're going to put those up in this upper corner. Alright, so that's done. And then we're going to run that through our painted texture 3D embossing folder. And I've already done that, so here is our finished project. Now it looks kind of like snowbanks a little bit, like it's, the snow's piled up a little bit. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. So that's going to go at the bottom of our trees. And we'll just attach that just below, line the edges up, and keep a little border at the bottom. Alright, so we're going to set that aside for a moment, but we could go ahead and glue that to our card front, and then we'll finish assembling. So, make sure we're going the right direction and not upside down. I have done that before. And okay. Let's glue scooch that over just a little bit. Right there's good. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. And then we're going to stamp our barn. And again, I'm using the black Memento ink. And when you have a larger stamp, I like to turn it upside down and ink it up. That way I can see if it's got a good coverage or not. And I'll bring our pad back over here. And I'm going to stamp it right here at the edge. And I'm just going to let that sit there a moment. Okay, that looks good. And also our little sleigh and horse. And we'll do that right over here. And our little wreath, but that's going to be a different color. Well, yeah, I need to get my garden green. I put it away. Hold on a second. I meant to say shaded spruce for our wreath. And we'll do that right there. We're going to die cut all these out, so after we colored them. Close that up. Close this one up. And we'll put that away. Make some room. Hi, Polly. Sunny Central North Carolina. That's wonderful. We were sunny, but it looks like we might be clouding up a little bit out there. So, glad to have you here. If you missed any of the beginning, you can go back and watch the replay. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our barn. We're going to color that with our dark real red and the light real red. So we'll start with those two first. I've got a bunch of Stampin' Blends here, so you don't need to get mixed up. So I'm just going to outline our barn with the dark. And I should have had some of this done ahead of time. I thought I did, but I guess I forgot to do it. But it shouldn't take us too long here, so hopefully nobody's in a hurry. And if you can't stick around, I hope you'll come back and catch the replay later. Alright, and then I'm going to go around the window frames with the dark. Real red. And be sure you like and share the video. Also, that helps me to get more viewers. I'd appreciate that. Okay. And I will be posting this later onto YouTube also, so you can just search for me on there. Just look for Creating Cards with Debbie, and you should be able to find it okay. Okay, just trying to outline these. Oops, I need to get the top here. Alright, and we're going to come back with the light real red, and we're going to do some shading. I always like to use the bullet end of my Stampin' Blends. It just seems like it gives me more control of it than what the brush side does. And I'm trying to watch the comments too while I'm doing this. I know there's going to be a lot of demonstrators that aren't doing videos this week because of Onstage they're headed out to. I'm not going this year, so maybe next year I'll be able to. Okay, almost finished here. I'm just trying to hurry a little bit here, so hopefully I don't mess up. I should have had this done ahead of time. Okay, so I got that color. Let me get the chimney part. There we go. Alright, so we're done with the real red. And then I'm going to use the dark so saffron to do the inside of our windows, which is, I'm thinking that's probably the hay that's piled up in there. And I'm just going to do these the same. It'll look like the lights are on. Alright. And that's all the coloring we need to do on that. The rest is snow. Okay, so let's come back in with our, I need the real red again for the bow on the wreath here. We'll go ahead and do that. And I'll start with the dark, and then I'll come back with the light real red and fill the rest of the bow in. Alright. And then we'll color our horse and sleigh. And thinking that I did my horse using dark crumb cake for his mane. Let me just double check here. Gray granite. No. Okay, I used the light and dark crumb cake for the horse. So I'm going to do his mane and tail with the dark crumb cake. And light for the horse. Light crumb cake. It's so quiet, I hear my dog snoring. And let me turn that a little bit so I can get his legs a little bit better. Alright, and then I'm going to come in with, I thought I had a black. Gray granite. Okay, I'm using the dark gray granite to do the harness on the horse. we're going to do the sleigh with the real red. The dark will be the outline. And I'll come back with the light real red and shade that in. And I'm going to do their boots with the red and their hats. And their mittens. We'll do her scarf with the red too. And okay, I'm gonna grab some of these back. I'm going to do this dark so saffron for her coat. And her pants. And just looking to see what I'm missing here. And then we're going to do the blanket in the evening evergreen. So I'm going to use the dark and the light. And I'm just going to outline it a little bit with the dark evening evergreen. And then come back in with the light evening evergreen. And next we're going to do the little boy's outfit in light gray granite and dark gray granite. Okay, I'm going to do his pants in the light gray granite. Alright, and I'm going to use the light crumb cake just to do their faces. Alright, so now we need to bring our baby boss over here and do some die cutting. And I'm going to get my things out of the way here. And my plates. Alright, I'm going to have to cut this smaller so I can fit it into my machine. Okay, so we'll go ahead and cut out the sleigh and the wreath first. This has a lot of cute dies to it too. It's got the fence and everything, snowflakes and trees. Just using the sleigh, and I've got some washi tape that I've already used. I'm going to grab that. Hold them in place and position that there. And then our wreath die. We'll go right here. I'm going to go ahead and cut those first, and then we'll come back in and do the horse. I lost my top plate here for a minute. There it is. I hope this doesn't jiggle the table too much. I apologize if it does. Alright, so we'll There's our wreath and our horse and sleigh. And let me get my die off of here so I don't lose it. And then we'll die cut our barn. With this die. And it cuts out the snow and the barn. So I'm just getting that centered on there where I want it to be. And we'll tape that down so it doesn't move. And we'll run that through our baby boss. Hi Becky, I'm glad you're here. Be sure you go back and catch the replay to catch what you might have missed at the beginning. I'm glad to have you here. I'm hoping that everybody likes the 1 o'clock time slot. Well, 1 o'clock Central Time anyway. If it works out for everybody, I'll keep doing it at the same time. Otherwise, I'll go back to the morning. Let me know what you prefer. Alright, so here's our dies. We'll set those aside. Alright, so we've got our barn, we've got our sleigh, and I've ripped my paper, and our little wreath. So let me put baby boss. Oops, we got one more thing to die cut. We need our little sign. Alright. I guess I missed that because it's not stamped, it's just die cut. And I just used brown paper. Oops, things are moving. The die, scrap of paper, and here's our little sign. There's no words on it, it's just a sign pointing an arrow kind of thing. Alright, so now we can start assembling our card. We're going to glue our barn directly down. We're not putting that on dimensionals or anything, so let's go ahead and do that. And just kind of centering it over the snowbank there. Press it down a little bit, and we can add our wreath. I showed this at our team meeting last night, and everybody really liked it. They said I ought to frame it. And I said, well, I didn't even think about doing that. That would be a good idea. Alright, and then we're going to place our sleigh up on dimensionals. So I'm going to bring those out here. And one right there. I want to make sure that they're not showing outside of everything. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to pop those backings off of those dimensionals. With no fingernails, this works really good. Much easier than trying to struggle and grab them. Okay, so I'm going to kind of line up with where the footprints are. Right there, it's good. And then we're going to take our little sign and we're going to just glue that down directly to our card front. And place it beside our sentiment. Alright, and then I've got some red rhinestone basic jewels we're going to use on our card front. I've kind of mutilated this package for some reason. I'm going to take your pick tool and I'm going to add those. And I'm going to put one right in the center of our bowl there. I'm just doing the one. I know I usually do threes, but I'm just going to do one on this. Alright, so there's the outside of our card. And we're going to come back and put our sentiment on the inside, which says, "May joy fill your heart this season." And we're going to bring our black memento ink back in here. And our piercing mat again. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, I'm really happy how this turned out. It may be one of my favorite Christmas cards that I'm going to be giving out, so. Alright. So there's our sentiment on the inside. And cover that ink pad before I make a mess. Alright. Okay, so Merry Christmas to you and yours. And I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to our snow, just to bling it up a little bit. So I'm going to put it on the barn roof. And some on our bow of our wreath. And maybe spread a little bit on our snow. And why not do the windows a little bit? Can never have too much bling is what I say. Alright. And add a little bit to the sleigh while we're at it. Why not? Okay, there we go. So here's our first Christmas card of the day. Merry Christmas to you and yours. And then may joy fill your heart this season. I think I've got ink on my fingers. I'm thinking I need to grab a baby wipe and take care of that before I spread it all over. You know how that goes. Okay. I'll put that back in the package and use it again later. Alright, so let's go on to our third and final card, which is another Christmas card. And this is the card. I'm using the Kindest Gnomes. And let me get that out here. And the Kindest Gnomes bundle, the stamp set, and the dies. And then I've also thrown in that Framed and Festive, which is in that collection that I showed you earlier. It's running the special. But this one is only available for a limited time. So, and while supplies last. So, Framed and Festive, which the item number is 160888, if you'd like to order that. And I like it because it's got a lot of nice Christmas sentiments for the inside and outside of the card. Okay, so we're using that. And we're also using the Scalloped Contours dies and the Stitched Rectangles dies. Okay, so let's get all of our bits and pieces out for our card. I've got dies and everything in here, so. Okay, we're going to start out with our basic red cardstock. And it's just our basic layout. It's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And I'm trying to get my card to stand up here. Yes, 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then score it in the middle at 4 1/4 inches. Or you can just fold it. Either one. You don't have to really score it when you're doing this size of a card with this layout. And we'll set that aside. And then we're using the cardstock, which is it's called Sweetest Christmas, and we're using this pattern here. If you haven't seen these yet, let me go ahead and show you real quick what they look like. We've got this pattern that we're using, and it's got little diamonds on the back. Polka dots on red, and then that's the backing. We've got candy canes and stripes. And some more candy canes, small candy canes with some green stripes. And then more stripes and polka dots. And then some green polka dots. Well, they're kind of an oblong or oval dots. And then this one, which is this. That was the same one we looked at. Okay, and then the candy canes with red stripes. And then back to the same one that we're using today. So, very pretty, very Christmassy looking. Using all of the traditional Christmas colors. Alright, so we've got a basic white that measures, and where are my instructions? Okay. Let me get my measurements here. We've got basic white, which is 4 1/8 inches by 5 3/8 inches. And then our Designer Series paper is 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And we're going to go ahead and glue that down to our basic white mat. And I'm going to turn this sideways so I can position better, so I can see it. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm going to glue that to the front of our card. And make sure I've got the opening going the right direction. And we'll leave a small red border going around. Okay, so that's our card front. And we've used our basic red, and we've cut out this frame with this scalloped contours frame. And we're using the Wintry 3D embossing folder, and that comes as a 2-pack. You get these little like ferns, branches, and then the snowflakes. So we're using the snowflake one, and I've already done that ahead of time. And this white layer measures, well, it's this die that I've used, I guess. It's the stitched rectangles dies. So I've cut that out, and then I embossed it. So we're going to place that onto our scalloped layer. Hard's our word. I was struggling for my words right there for some reason. Blame it on a senior moment, I guess. Alright, then we're going to place that right in the center of our scalloped, right where the stitching is, in between that. It fits exactly, perfectly right in there. Something like that. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down to our card front. Yeah, Polly, I think I agree with you. It is. I'm going to have to order me another pack of it. I think I only got one. Unless I ordered another pack that came today. I'm not sure. I don't remember what was in that order. Okay, and I'm going to kind of scooch this up just a little bit more to the top, because I want my sentiment to go along the bottom. Alright, so I've already done some die cutting, so you won't have to watch me. This is the hat. And that's cut out of that same paper with the dots. And here's the die that goes for that. And his little legs I cut out of real red using the die for that. And I'm just making sure this is all on camera. And then his beard with this die is out of basic white. And then a little nose is out of polished pink using this die. And you could also use this die for his hands if you wanted to. It works both ways for his nose and his hands. Alright, so we're going to put our dies away so we don't lose them, and we'll start assembling our gnome. But first I want to take my blends and I want to give him a little shading, and I didn't bring my, I've got to grab that stamp pad. I put my stamp pads away this morning thinking I didn't need them, but I do. I'm going to go with the, I'm going to use the gray granite to put a little color on his beard so it shows, otherwise it's kind of hidden on that basic white background. So this just makes it pop out a little bit. So I'm going to get my scrap paper here and my blending brush, and we're going to give his beard a little gray. He's kind of an old gnome. He's aging, getting that gray hair. Yeah. It doesn't take a lot. We don't need a lot, just enough to throw that white off a little bit. Okay, just a tiny bit. It doesn't take much. Okay. Alright, so now we can start assembling him. We're going to put his hat on first. And we just put our glue right along the outline of the die, because it shows where it goes at. And place that down. And then we're going to add his nose right over the top of that. I never used to like gnomes, but I've gotten so I'm liking them. I guess because they're getting cuter than what they were at first. At first they kind of creeped me out, but they're getting cuter. So I'm starting to like them. In fact, I even got a t-shirt the other day that has gnomes on it. So go figure, I guess I am changing. And we're going to place him on top of the legs. And then we're going to put him up on dimensionals. Oops. And maybe one more. And grab our Take Your Pick tool to pop those backings off of our dimensionals. Oh, that one didn't come off. There we go. And then we're going to place that on our card front. And I'm going to center him on top of our snowflakes. Alright. And then I've got a little strip of the basic white, and we're going to stamp our sentiment on there, which says Merry Christmas. And using our black memento ink. And I'm just going to see if I can line that up straight. And I'm going to stamp twice because I want it going across the bottom of our card. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. And cover that before I have an accident. And this is going to go right across our bottom. Yeah, it looks like I have black ink again, smudging. We're going to cut that portion off anyway. I'm just going to cut it at a little bit of an angle. Yeah, I do have smudges here. I've got black ink all over the place. Go figure. And cut that side off at an angle. And then we're going to just glue that down to our bottom of our card. And some ink on my finger I didn't want to transfer to my white cardstock. Alright, and we're going to just place that down at the bottom portion. And somewhat center it. Alright. And then we're going to be using our red rhinestones again. And our Take Your Pick tool to grab those with. And I'm going to put one right in between the two Merry Christmases. And then I'm going to do with our threes again. I'm going to put one right there and another one right there. All right. And then we're going to do the inside. I've got to wash my fingers off. They're all full of black ink somehow. I think it's on my ink pad cover or something. Could be I re-inked it this morning and I probably got it a little bit too much and got it all over the place. All right. Thanks, Becky. I'm glad I'm not alone. Yeah, Becky, I seen that too about the triangle of the hat. Let me see, where did I put that at? Yeah, you can, there's a little extra piece. Where did my dies go? Now if I can find it. Yeah, it's right there. It's real little. You can barely see it. It's in here. It's this one right here. Well, some of these really stick really hard to the tape. Oops. Jab my finger and I'll have blood all over the place next here, besides ink. Yeah, it's real tiny. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. And that fits right in the center of the hat. And then it gives you little holes. You can run a string through there, a ribbon through there, and have an ornaments right here. I was waiting to see if the camera can show it at all. Yeah. It's real tiny. I seen that yesterday too. I thought, oh, how clever. Good idea. Let me put that back up there so I don't lose it. It's so small. Alright, so let's get back at our card. I was saying the inside of our card is our basic white, and that measures 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches. And then I've got a, well, this looks like it's more than a 1/2 inch. It is 3/4 inch by 4 inches, and that's going to be our bottom strip. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment to make sure I get it right and don't have to turn our paper over, because sometimes we make mistakes and it's got to be turned over to the other side. So it's a good thing we got 2 sides to every cardstock. Alright, so I'm going to stamp Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Okay, that turned out good. And I'm still getting ink on me. Thank goodness for baby wipes. Alright, now we're going to take that strip of Designer Series paper and we're going to glue that to the bottom of our basic white inside layer. And I'm just going to leave a tiny, tiny, tiny white border at the bottom. Just a sliver. Alright, and I'm going to turn it over because it seems like I've got a little bit too much. So I'm going to snip that part off and then come back in here and put our glue on the back. And we'll put that inside of our card. And we're just leaving a border going around it, and scooch that down just a little bit. Okay, so there's the inside of our card. So here we have our gnome card, and I don't think I'm missing anything on him. I think I got it all together. Yeah, let me put my lid on my glue here, which I have lost. Oh, it's right here. Okay, and I've got black ink all over my paper here, so I'm making sure I don't transfer onto my cards. Let me bring our cards back out here. And make sure that they're all fitting, and I'm really digitizing there. Yeah, Becky, that's true. Some of the things we don't know what they are until somebody figures it out. Well, thank you, Becky. I appreciate that. I try to have pretty good cards each week. Sometimes I get stumped and I don't really know what I'm going to do until sometimes the last minute, but I appreciate that you like them. And be sure that you like and share the video and tell your friends about me. I'd love to have more viewers. The more the merrier is what I say. So here's our first card, the birthday card, and then our 2 Christmas cards. So I'm glad that you all were able to be here today, and y'all have a good rest of the week. And I'll see you next week, which will be, let me get my calendar here. It'll be November 16th already, and I'll be back at 1 o'clock Central Time again. So until then, y'all have a good week. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week. Bye.